Hi there, welcome to Chatcraft English. My name is Sophie, and today we're going to explore something very useful, how to speak English naturally during phone calls. For many learners, talking on the phone can feel stressful. You can't see the person's face, and sometimes their voice is hard to understand. But don't worry, I'm here to guide you step by step. By the end of this lesson, you'll feel more confident making phone calls in English. Let's begin by thinking about a typical phone call. When you call someone, how do you start the conversation? In English, the beginning of a phone call is very important. It sets the tone. People often greet each other, say who they are, and explain why they are calling. Here's how you can do that naturally and clearly. First, start with a friendly greeting. You can say, "Hello, this is Sophie speaking." Or, "Hi, it's Sophie. How are you?" These simple lines are polite and easy to understand. They also help the listener know who is calling right away. Now, let's say you're calling someone you don't know very well, maybe someone at a company or a customer service person. In that case, you might say, "Good morning, my name is Sophie Nguyen. I'm calling about a problem with my internet." Notice how clear and polite that sentence is. You greet them, say your name, and explain your reason for calling, all in one short paragraph. That's the kind of English we want to use. Clear, polite, and direct. After the greeting, the conversation continues. The other person might say something like, "Hello, Sophie. How can I help you today?" At that point, you can explain more about the reason for your call. Don't rush. Use short sentences if you need to. Here's an example. "Yes, I've been having trouble with my internet connection since yesterday. It keeps disconnecting every few minutes, and I can't work from home." This sentence gives useful information. It says when the problem started, what the problem is, and why it matters. When you speak like this, the other person can understand you quickly and clearly. Sometimes the person on the phone will ask for your details. They might say, "Can I have your phone number, please?" Or, "May I get your address?" When that happens, speak slowly and clearly. Say the numbers one by one. For example, "Sure, my phone number is 0912345678. That's 0912345678. Notice how I broke the number into smaller parts. That makes it easier to understand over the phone. You can also repeat the number to confirm. For example, so that's 0912345678, correct? This helps avoid mistakes. Let's also talk about asking for clarification. If you don't understand something during a phone call, it's completely okay to ask the person to repeat it. Don't be shy. You can say, "Sorry, could you repeat that, please?" Or, "I'm sorry I didn't catch that. Could you say it again?" These are polite and natural ways to ask for help. Native speakers use them all the time. You don't have to feel embarrassed. Sometimes you may also need to ask the other person to slow down. In that case, say, "Would you mind speaking a little more slowly?" Most people are happy to help if you ask nicely. Next, let's talk about what to do when you want to confirm information. Maybe someone tells you a date or an address and you want to make sure you heard it right. You can say, "Let me check. Did you say the appointment is on Friday at 10 a.m.? This is a very helpful skill. Confirming information shows you are careful and helps prevent problems later. And what about when you don't know what to say next? That can happen to anyone. If there's silence on the phone and you feel unsure, take a deep breath and think about your goal. What do you want from the conversation? Are you asking for help booking some things or just getting information? Focus on that and say something simple like, "So, what should I do next?" Or, "Could you please tell me what the next step is?" These kinds of questions help move the conversation forward. Finally, when it's time to end the call, we use polite closing phrases. You can say, "Thank you so much for your help," or, "I appreciate your time. Have a great day." Then wait for the other person to respond. They may say goodbye first. If not, you can end with "Goodbye," or "Talk to you soon." That's the basic structure of a good phone call in English. It starts with a greeting, includes clear communication, polite questions, and ends with a kind farewell. If you follow this structure, people will understand you better, and you'll feel more relaxed when speaking English on the phone. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be clear, polite, and calm. Every call you make is a chance to improve your English. Now that we understand the basic structure of a phone call in English, let's take a deeper look at some useful expressions and strategies that can help you sound even more natural and confident. These are the kinds of small details that make a big difference when you're speaking English on the phone. One very useful phrase is, "Could I speak to..." For example, you might say, "Hello, could I speak to Mr. Lee, please?" Or, "Hi, I'd like to speak to someone from the billing department." This is a polite and common way to ask for the right person. When you use phrases like this, people will feel that you know how to handle phone conversations well. Sometimes the person you want to talk to is not available. In that case, the other person might say, "I'm sorry, Mr. Lee is not available at the moment," or, "He's in a meeting right now." What should you do in that situations? You can ask to leave a message. For example, "Could you please ask him to call me back?" Or, "Can I leave a message for him?" You can also leave your phone number or email address. Say it slowly and clearly. For example, "My number is 0934556789. That's 0934556789. Make sure to repeat it once to confirm. This shows that you care about clear communication. Sometimes you might be the one receiving a call. What should you say when you pick up the phone? You can start with a greeting and your name. "Hello, this is Sophie speaking." Or if you're answering a phone at work, "Good afternoon. Chatcraft English, Sophie speaking. How can I help you?" These sentences are professional, clear, and polite. Let's say someone is asking for someone else, but they dialed the wrong number. You might hear, "Hey, is this Mr. Thomas?" And if that's not you, you can say, "I'm sorry, I think you have the wrong number." Or, "There's no one named Thomas here." This is a common situation, and it's okay to speak simply and directly. Next, let's learn some phrases that help when you need time to think. During a phone call, it's normal to need a few seconds before answering. Native speakers often use little phrases to give themselves time. You can try. Let me see. Or just a moment. Or even, that's a good question. These small expressions help you sound more fluent. They show that you're thinking and responding naturally. Another useful situation is when you want to put someone on hold. If you're working in customer service or just need a second to check something you can say, would you mind holding for a moment? Or, can I put you on hold for just a minute? If the other person says yes, you can say, "Thank you, I'll be right back." Then, when you return to the call, say, "Thank you for waiting." These polite phrases help make the call smoother and more professional. Let's also practice how to give instructions or information clearly. For example, if someone asks for directions, you could say, "Sure, go straight for 2 blocks, then turn left. The office is next to the bank." Or if someone wants to know your office hours, you might say, "We're open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday." Try to speak clearly using short, complete sentences. This helps the listener understand without confusion. Sometimes during a phone call, there might be a bad connection. You might not hear the other person clearly, or the sound may cut in and out. When this happens, you can say, "I'm sorry the line is bad. Could you say that again?" Or, "I didn't hear that clearly. Can you repeat it, please?" These are polite ways to deal with a common phone problem. Also, it's good to practice how to ask for a call to be repeated in writing. For example, if someone gives you a long email address or a difficult name, you can say, "Could you spell that for me, please?" And then listen carefully. It's okay to ask them to slow down. You can say, "Sorry, could you spell that a bit more slowly?" Spelling names and emails over the phone is a skill, but you'll get better with practice. Now let's imagine you want to schedule an appointment. That's another common reason to call someone. You might say, "I'd like to make an appointment, please." Or, "Can I book a time to see the doctor?" The other person might say, "Sure, what day works best for you?" And you could reply, "Thursday morning would be great. Do you have anything available around 10 a.m.? This is a very natural and polite way to set up a time. If that time is not available, they might suggest another time. "We have 11 a.m. available. Would that work for you?" You can then say, "Yes, 11 a.m. is fine, thank you." Or if it doesn't work, you could say, "Actually, I'm busy at 11. Do you have something earlier?" The key here is to stay polite and flexible. These types of conversations happen every day. Booking an appointment, asking for help, giving information, or confirming something. The more you practice, the more natural they become. Remember, the goal is not to sound perfect, but to speak clearly, calmly, and with confidence. Now, let's move on to one of the most important skills in any phone conversation: confirming information. When you're speaking on the phone, especially in English, it's very important to make sure you understand the details. That's why confirming is such a powerful tool. For example, if someone tells you their name, phone number, or appointment time, it's helpful to repeat the information back to them to check that it's correct. You can say, "Just to confirm, your name is Anna, right?" Or, "So you'll arrive at 3 p.m. on Monday, is that correct?" These simple questions help you avoid mistakes and show the other person that you're listening carefully. It also gives them a chance to correct anything if needed. When someone repeats your information to you, you can reply with, "Yes, that's correct." Or if there's a mistake, you can say, "Actually, it's 4 p.m., not 3 p.m." Don't be afraid to speak up. Clarifying and confirming are very natural parts of a phone conversation. Let's also talk about ending a phone call politely. Knowing how to close a call smoothly is just as important as starting one. You can use these phrases. "Well, thank you for your help." Or, "I really appreciate your time." And then you can say, "Have a great day." Or, "Talk to you soon. Goodbye." Polite, friendly, and clear, that's the goal. If you're not sure how to end the call, you can say something like, "Well, I think that's everything for now." Or, "I'll let you go now. Thanks again." That's a natural signal that the conversation is ending. Next, let's go over some common situations you might face on the phone and how to handle them in English. Imagine you're calling a delivery service because your order didn't arrive. You could say, "Hi, I placed an order 2 days ago, but I haven't received it yet." Or, "I'm calling about a late delivery. Can you help me check the status?" The person on the phone might ask, "Can I have your order number, please?" And you can reply, "Yes, it's 548921. This kind of conversation is very useful for everyday life. And the more you practice these patterns, the easier it gets. Or maybe you need to reschedule an appointment. You might say, "Hi, I have an appointment tomorrow at 2 p.m., but I need to reschedule." Then they might ask, "Sure, when would you like to come in instead?" You could say, "Is Thursday morning available?" This is a normal, polite way to handle changes. Now, let's practice how to ask someone to repeat something, a very helpful skill, especially when you don't catch every word. On the phone, it's common to miss a word or two. Native speakers do it too. Here are some polite ways to ask for repetition. "Sorry, I didn't catch that." "Could you say it again?" Or, "Would you mind repeating that, please?" If it's a name or a number, you can say, "Could you repeat the number slowly?" Or, "I'm sorry, can you spell that for me?" There's no need to feel nervous. Asking for repetition is completely normal, and it's better to be clear than to guess. Sometimes when people speak too fast, you can say, "Sorry, could you speak a bit more slowly?" Most people will understand and slow down. Now, let's talk about leaving a voicemail message. In some countries, voicemail is used often. In others, people prefer texting, but it's still a good skill to learn. When leaving a voicemail, it's best to be short, polite, and clear. Here's a good structure. Say who you are. Say why you're calling. Leave your number and ask for a call back. For example, "Hi, this is Sophie from Chatcraft English. I am calling to confirm our meeting on Friday. Please call me back at 0934-556-789. Thanks and talk to you soon." That's a strong professional voicemail. Also, don't forget to smile when you speak, even on the phone. People can hear the smile in your voice. It makes you sound more friendly and confident. Now let's go through a few more useful phrases that can help you in many different phone conversations. Can I help you with anything else? Please hold for just a moment. Thanks for calling. Have a great day. I'm connecting you now. One moment, please. Can you call me back later? I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Learning these phrases will help you stay calm and in control during phone calls. And here's one last tip for this part. Write things down before your call. If you're nervous, make a short list of the things you want to say. You can prepare some of the sentences we practiced today. That way, even if you forget a word, you'll have something to help you. You don't have to memorize everything. Just having a few key points ready can make a big difference. Also, practice reading your sentences out loud. The more you say them, the more natural they will feel. Think of it like training a muscle. Each time you practice, you get stronger and more confident. Let's continue with more real-life situations you may face during a phone conversation. The more familiar you are with these, the easier it will be to respond naturally and confidently in English. Imagine you receive a call from someone, but you don't recognize the number. You pick up and hear, "Hi, may I speak with John?" But your name is not John. You can politely say, "I'm sorry, I think you have the wrong number." Or, "There's no one named John here." It's a simple way to let the caller know they've made a mistake without sounding rude. Now imagine you're the one making the call and you reach the wrong person. You could say, "Sorry, I must have dialed the wrong number." Or, "Oh, I think I've made a mistake. Sorry about that." Being polite goes a long way in phone conversations, especially when you're not face to face. Let's now move on to a very common situation, making a booking or reservation. Let's say you're calling a restaurant. You might start with, "Hi, I'd like to make a reservation for dinner." The person might ask, "For how many people?" And you could say, "For 3 people, please." Then they might ask you, "What day and time?" You answer, "Friday at 7 p.m. if possible." And finally, they may say, "Your table is confirmed for 7 p.m. this Friday." This short exchange is easy to practice and very useful when you travel or live in an English-speaking country. Here's another situation calling a hotel to ask about availability. You could say, "Hi, I am calling to ask if you have any rooms available next weekend." The hotel staff might reply, "Yes, we have a few rooms left. What dates are you looking for?" You say, "From Friday to Sunday, 2 nights." And they might say, "We have a double room available." You could then reply, "That sounds great. Can I book it now?" With just a few polite sentences, you can complete the whole conversation clearly and smoothly. Let's also talk about phone interviews or calls for jobs and work. These are very important and a bit more formal. When the call begins, the other person may say, "Hi, this is Karen from Global Tech. Is this a good time to talk?" You can respond with, "Yes, this is a good time. Thank you for calling." It's polite to say thank you and confirm you're ready to talk. During a job-related call, they may ask, "Can you tell me a little about yourself?" This is a very common question. You can say something like, "Sure, I'm Sophie and I've been working in customer service for 3 years. I enjoy helping people and solving problems." Then they might ask, Why do you want to work with us? You can say, I've read great things about your company, and I believe my skills would be a good fit for your team. These kinds of answers show that you're polite, professional, and confident in your English. If you don't understand something during a job call, you can still ask for clarification, just like in regular phone calls. Say, I'm sorry, could you please repeat the question? Or, I didn't quite understand. Could you explain that a little more? This shows that you care about the conversation and want to do your best. Let's now practice how to put someone on hold or transfer a call. This might happen if you're answering a business phone. You can say, one moment please, I'll transfer you now. Or, please hold while I connect you. If someone else is helping, they might say, I'm transferring your call to the billing department. You can respond with, thank you, or, okay, I'll hold. Knowing these small but powerful expressions makes phone English easier to follow. Sometimes people are not available to talk when you call. In this case, the person answering the phone might say, I'm sorry she's not available right now. Can I take a message? And you can reply, yes, please tell her that Sophie called. My number is 0948113456. Leaving a message like this is polite and helps you stay in touch professionally. If someone asks to leave a message with you, you can say, sure, I'll let her know you called. Or, I'll make sure she gets your message. It's all about being helpful and respectful. Finally, for this part, let's talk about how to handle background noise. Phone calls aren't always quiet or easy. Maybe you're on the street or near traffic. If it's too loud and you can't hear the other person, just say, I'm sorry, there's a lot of noise. Could you repeat that? Or, can you speak up a little? It's hard to hear. If you're the one in a noisy place, you can say, sorry, I'm outside right now. Let me move to a quieter place. These are polite ways to explain the situation. It's okay to ask for better communication. Everyone wants a smooth conversation. And remember, every phone call you make helps you learn and grow. The more you speak, the more confident you become. Even small conversations build your fluency. Let's continue. In this part, we'll focus on common problems during a phone call and how to respond clearly and confidently, even when things don't go as planned. Sometimes when you are on the phone, the signal might be weak. The call might cut off, or you can't hear the other person very well. When that happens, don't panic. You can simply say, sorry, the connection is bad. I can't hear you clearly. Or, I think we got disconnected. Let me call you back. These sentences are helpful in both personal and professional situations. They show that you're aware of the problem and taking action to fix it. Now, let's say you're in the middle of a conversation, but you suddenly need to stop talking. For example, you're busy, someone's calling you, or you need to do something important. You don't want to be rude, so you can say, I'm sorry, something just came up. Can I call you back in a few minutes? Or, I can't talk right now. Can we speak later? This is a polite way to pause the conversation and continue at a better time. Sometimes you might call someone and they don't answer. You can leave a voicemail, especially in work or business situations. A good voicemail is short, clear, and polite. For example, hi, this is Sophie. I'm calling about the meeting next Tuesday. Please call me back when you have time. My number is 0948 123 456. Thank you. You don't need to say too much, just enough so they know who you are, why you called, and how to contact you. Now, let's talk about a very useful skill confirming information during a call. Maybe you hear a phone number, a date, or a name, but you're not sure if you understood it correctly. Don't guess. It's always better to confirm. You can say, "Could you please repeat that?" Or, "Did you say 4:30 or 5:30? If you want to confirm a name, say, "Can you spell that for me, please?" For example, if the person says, "My name is Amy," but you're not sure how it's spelled, they might reply, "A-I-M-A-E." This is common and shows that you're careful and professional. Let's now move on to polite endings for phone calls. You don't want to just hang up without saying goodbye. Whether it's a friend, a coworker, or a new contact ending the call, leaves a good impression. You can say, "Thanks for your time. It was nice talking with you." Or, "Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Take care." For more formal calls like with a business partner or customer service, you can say, "Thank you for your help. Have a great day." Or, "I appreciate your time. Goodbye." These simple phrases show respect and end the conversation in a friendly way. Now imagine you're giving or receiving directions on the phone. This can happen often, especially when someone is trying to visit your home office or a meeting place. For example, you might say, "To get here, take the train to Central Station, then walk straight for 5 minutes. My office is next to the coffee shop on the corner." The other person might reply, "Okay, so I take the train to Central Station, then walk 5 minutes. Got it. When giving directions, try to be clear and use simple words. Use landmarks like shops, buildings, or signs to help the other person find the place more easily. Let's talk about asking for help or support on the phone. Maybe your internet isn't working, or you want to ask about your bank account or check your delivery. You call customer service. A polite way to start is, "Hi, I'm calling because I need help with..." For example, "Hi, I'm calling because my internet has stopped working." Or, "I'd like to ask about my recent order." The person on the phone may ask, "Can I have your account number?" Or, "What seems to be the problem?" Then you explain in a clear and calm way. You can say, "I've tried restarting the modem, but the connection still isn't working." Or, "I ordered a package last week, but it hasn't arrived yet." Being polite using clear details and staying calm will help the conversation go smoothly, even if you're a bit nervous. And if you need the other person to explain something more simply, you can say, "I'm sorry, could you explain that in a different way?" Or, "Can you give me an example?" This shows that you're paying attention and want to understand fully. Now let's practice how to make an appointment over the phone. This is useful for going to the doctor, dentist, or hair salon. You can say, "Hi, I'd like to make an appointment." Then they might ask, "What day and time?" You answer, "Do you have anything available this Thursday in the morning?" Or, "I'm free after 3 p.m. on Friday." They may reply, "We have a spot at 3:30 on Friday. Would that work for you?" And you say, "Yes, that's perfect, thank you." These kinds of short phone calls are easy to practice and help build real-world speaking skills. Remember, phone English doesn't have to be stressful. With practice, it becomes natural. Start small, keep it simple, and don't worry about being perfect. Every time you try, you're improving. Welcome back. In this part, we'll talk about how to handle common everyday phone conversations, the kind you might have with friends, family members, or coworkers. These short calls can help you feel more confident in real-life English situations. Let's begin with something simple, checking in on a friend. You can start the call by saying, "Hi, just wanted to check in and see how you're doing." Or, "Hey, it's been a while. How have you been?" These are friendly and natural ways to start a casual call. After they reply, you can continue with, "I was thinking about you and wanted to say hi." Or, "I hope everything's going well with work and family." If the conversation is short, that's okay. Even short calls help keep relationships strong. Now, let's say you want to invite someone to meet up. You can say, "Would you like to grab coffee sometime this week?" Or, "I'm planning to go to the park on Saturday. Do you want to join?" If you're calling to plan something, try to be clear about time and place. For example, "I'm free after 5 p.m. on Friday. Does that work for you?" Or, "How about lunch on Sunday around noon?" Then, once you both agree, you can confirm, "Great, I'll see you on Sunday at 12 then." Let's move on to rescheduling plans. Life happens, and sometimes you have to change or cancel. Be honest and polite. You can say, "I'm really sorry, but I can't make it today. Can we reschedule?" Or, "Something came up. Would it be okay if we met another day?" And if someone changes plans on you, it's kind to say, "No problem, I understand. Let's find another time." These short phrases show respect and help keep your communication smooth. Now let's look at talking to coworkers or classmates. Imagine you're working on a project together or planning an event. A polite way to start the call is, "Hi, I just wanted to go over a few things about the project." Or, "Do you have a few minutes to talk about tomorrow's meeting?" If you're following up on a task, you can say, "I was just checking if you had a chance to finish the report." Or, "I wanted to confirm who's bringing materials for the presentation." And if you're unsure about something, it's okay to say, I just want to make sure we're on the same page." This means you want to confirm that everyone understands things the same way. Let's practice another useful skill, giving updates over the phone. Sometimes your boss, teacher, or client wants to know how things are going. You can start with, "Everything is going well. We've finished step 1, and we're now working on step 2. Or, "We had a small delay, but we're back on track." Clear, short updates show that you're responsible and organized. If something isn't ready yet, be honest but positive. For example, "We're still working on it, but it should be done by Friday." Now, let's go back to family phone calls. These are usually more relaxed and personal. You might call your parents or relatives just to chat. You can say, "Hi, Mom, just wanted to hear your voice." Or, "I miss you. How's everything at home?" Sometimes when you're far from family, just hearing them talk makes you feel close. Even if you don't say much, it still means a lot. And when the call is ending, you can say, "Thanks for chatting. I feel better now." Or, "I'll call again soon. Love you." These warm endings help keep your family relationships strong. Now, let's talk about ordering food or making a reservation over the phone. This is a very practical skill. When calling a restaurant, you can say, "Hi, I'd like to place a delivery order." Or, "Hello, I'd like to make a reservation for 2 people." They might ask, "What time would you like the reservation?" You answer, "7 p.m. tonight, please." They may say, "Okay, we've booked your table. See you then." Or if you're ordering food, they'll ask for your address. "Can I have your address, please?" You reply, "Yes, it's 123 Main Street, apartment 4BA. Then they might say, "Your order will arrive in 30 minutes. Thank you." Learning how to speak clearly and slowly during these kinds of calls is very helpful, especially when the other person doesn't know you. Let's finish this part with a few more phone tips to help you feel confident. Always speak clearly and at a steady speed. If you didn't hear something, don't guess. Just ask politely, "Could you repeat that, please?" Keep a small notebook or phone app ready to write down names, times, or numbers. Practice with a friend or language partner by doing short phone role plays. Listen to English phone conversations on YouTube, podcasts, or movies, and repeat the phrases you hear. The more you hear and use these expressions, the more natural they'll become. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every phone call is a chance to improve your real-world English. Let's continue by practicing expressing feelings and sharing opinions over the phone. These types of calls are very useful in both personal and professional life. Being able to talk about how you feel or what you think shows confidence and helps build better relationships. Let's begin with sharing positive feelings. If you're happy or excited, you can say, "I'm really happy to talk to you today." Or, "I've had such a great day, I just wanted to share it with someone." When something good happens, like getting a new job, passing a test, or visiting somewhere nice, you might say, "I just wanted to tell you the good news. I got the job." Or, "I finally finished the course. I'm so proud of myself." These moments matter, and sharing them helps you connect with others. Now let's practice talking about difficult feelings. If you're feeling sad, tired, or stressed, don't be afraid to express that. Try phrases like, "I've been feeling a bit tired lately. Work has been really busy." Or, "Honestly, I'm not feeling great today. Just needed to talk to someone." It's okay to open up. You don't need to say too much, just enough to let the person know how you're doing. And if someone tells you they're not feeling well, you can reply, "I'm sorry to hear that. I'm here if you want to talk." Or, "Thanks for sharing. I hope things get better soon." These are kind, simple ways to show support. Let's now talk about sharing opinions over the phone. This can be useful when you're discussing plans, giving feedback, or making decisions. A good way to begin is by saying, "In my opinion," or "I think that," "Yes, chai here." For example, "I think we should start earlier, so we have more time to finish." Or, in my opinion, that movie was really interesting, but the ending was too fast. If you disagree with someone, be polite. You can say, I see your point, but I think we should try a different way. Or, I understand what you're saying, but I have a different idea. This helps keep the conversation friendly, even if you don't fully agree. Let's practice some more examples for expressing agreement and disagreement naturally. To agree, you can say, I completely agree with you. Or, that's exactly what I was thinking. To disagree, politely try, I'm not so sure about that. Or, that's an interesting point, but I think there might be another way. These expressions are useful in all types of conversations, casual or professional. Now let's explore how to give and receive advice during a phone call. If someone calls you with a problem and you want to give advice, you can say, maybe you could try. Or, have you thought about... For example, maybe you could try taking a break for a few days. Or, have you thought about talking to your manager about this? Giving advice gently shows you care and that you're trying to help without being too strong. And when someone gives you advice, you can reply with, thanks, that's really helpful. Or, I'll think about that. I appreciate it. Even if you don't agree with the advice, being polite shows respect. Now, let's talk about a very practical situation, asking for help or information over the phone. Maybe you need to call your bank, your internet provider, or a local shop. You can begin by clearly saying what you need. Hi, I'm calling to ask about my account. Or, hello, I have a question about your opening hours. Being calm and clear is the key. If you don't understand something, say, sorry, could you explain that again? Or, can you speak a little slower, please? These requests are normal and show that you want to understand better. Sometimes you may need to spell your name or give your details on the phone. Practice saying, my name is Lisa Nguyen. That's Lisanguyen. My email is tom.smith@gmail.com. That's tom.smith@gmail.com. Being able to spell clearly is very useful, especially when the line is noisy or the other person doesn't know your name. Next, let's review a few phrases for confirming information on the phone. These help you avoid mistakes and show that you're listening. You can say, so just to confirm, the meeting is at 3 p.m. tomorrow, right? Or, let me repeat that to make sure I got it. Your address is 75 Green Street. Confirming details helps make sure everyone is clear, especially in important or formal calls. And here's something simple but very helpful, asking someone to wait politely. Sometimes you need a moment to check something or find information. Instead of saying, wait, it's better to say, could you hold on for a second, please? Or, just a moment, let me check that for you. And when you return, say, thanks for waiting. These small things make a big difference in how professional and polite you sound. Let's wrap up this part by reminding you of one important thing. Every phone call is a chance to grow. Even if it's short, even if it's not perfect. Every call helps you get more comfortable with real-world English. Let's continue by learning how to make and change plans over the phone. This is something we all do in daily life, whether you're calling a friend to meet for coffee or rescheduling a work meeting. Being able to do this in English helps you sound confident and polite. First, let's talk about making plans. You can start with, "Are you free this weekend?" Or, "Do you want to meet for lunch tomorrow?" If the person agrees, you can continue. "Great, how about 12:30 at the cafe on Main Street?" Or, "Let's meet at the library at 4 p.m. You can also confirm by saying, "Perfect, I'll see you then." Simple, clear, and friendly. Now, what if you need to change the plan? Start with a polite sentence like, "Hey, I'm really sorry, but I need to reschedule." Or, "Something's come up. Can we move our meeting to another time?" Then offer a new time. "Would tomorrow at the same time work for you?" Or, "Can we meet later in the afternoon, maybe around 5? It's important to sound polite and respectful, even if it's just a casual meeting with a friend. And if someone asks you to change the plan, here are some nice ways to respond. "No problem, I understand. Let me check my schedule." Or, "Sure, that works for me. Thanks for letting me know." Flexibility and kindness make conversations smoother. Next, let's practice inviting someone to an event or activity. If you want to invite someone to join you, say, "I'm going to a small party on Friday. Would you like to come?" Or, "There's a movie night this weekend. Do you want to join?" If they say yes, you can reply, "That's awesome, I'll send you the details." If they say no, you can still keep the mood positive. "No worries, maybe next time." Or, "That's okay, let's catch up another day." Now let's move on to leaving voice messages, which is another important phone skill, especially if the person doesn't answer your call. Here's a simple structure for leaving a message. Say your name. "Hi, this is Sophie." Say why you called. "I was calling to check if you're free this evening." Ask for a call back. "Please call me back when you have time." And politely, "Talk to you soon. Bye." Let's try it all together. "Hi, this is Sophie. I just wanted to see if you're available to meet tomorrow. Please give me a call back when you can. Talk to you soon. Bye." That's short, polite, and easy to understand. Sometimes you may receive a voice message too. If you call someone back, you can say, "Hi, I got your message. Thanks for calling." Or, "Sorry, I missed your call. What's up?" This shows that you listened and that you're ready to continue the conversation. Now, let's look at some useful phrases for ending different kinds of phone calls. If you're talking with a friend or someone you know, well, you might say, "It was really nice talking to you." Or, "Let's talk again soon." If the call is more formal for work or business, you can say, "Thanks for your time today." Or, "I appreciate the information. I'll follow up by email." And always remember to end politely with, "Bye for now." Or, "Take care, Dee." These small phrases help close the conversation smoothly and leave a good impression. Let's also practice a few common phone call situations together. I'll describe the situation and then show you what to say. Situation 1. Booking a table at a restaurant. "Hello, I'd like to make a reservation for 2 people at 7 p.m. tonight, please." The person might ask for your name, so be ready to say, "It's under the name John Nguyen." Then confirm, "Great, thank you. See you tonight." Situation 2. Calling your doctor's office. "Hi, I'd like to make an appointment to see the doctor, please." They may ask you what time works best. Any time in the afternoon would be great. You can also ask, could you please tell me if there are any openings tomorrow? Situation 3. Talking to a delivery service. Hi, I'm calling about a package I ordered last week. It hasn't arrived yet. Give your details clearly. My name is Anna Tran and the order number is 54321. Ask politely, could you please check the status for me? All of these are practical situations you may face, so practicing them helps you feel more confident. One more tip: if the phone line is not clear or the connection is bad, use phrases like, sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it? Or, the line is breaking up. Can you say that again? These expressions are very useful when the sound isn't perfect. Before we move on to the final part, I want to remind you, don't worry about sounding perfect. The most important thing is to keep practicing. Every time you speak, you're improving. You don't have to speak fast. You don't have to use big words. You just need to be clear, calm, and polite. The more you practice these phone situations, the more natural you'll sound. Whether it's calling a friend, a restaurant, or a company, you've got this. Welcome to the final part of our phone English practice. You've come so far, and I hope you're feeling more confident speaking English on the phone now. In this last section, let's talk about phone calls that require quick thinking and staying calm. These include things like calling for help, making complaints, or giving directions. Let's begin with asking for help in an emergency. If something serious happens and you need help quickly, you can say, there's an emergency, please send help. Or, I need an ambulance right away. If you call emergency services, stay calm and give information clearly. This is 42 Nguyen Street, District 3. My friend is not breathing. Or, there's been an accident on the corner of Oak and Main. Even if you feel nervous, speaking clearly and slowly is the most important thing. Now, what if you need to make a complaint? Maybe you received the wrong food order, or your internet is not working. Start polite but clear. Hi, I am calling to report a problem. Yes, in hi. Then explain, I ordered a pizza, but I received the wrong one. Or, my internet has been down since this morning. Next, ask for a solution. Can you send someone to fix it? Could I get a refund, please? Stay calm and try not to sound angry. The person on the phone will help more if you're respectful. Let's move on to giving directions over the phone. This can be tricky, especially if the other person doesn't know the area well. Start with landmarks. Do you know the city library? Then use clear steps. From the library, walk 2 blocks north, then turn right at the pharmacy. My house is number 12 next to the coffee shop. Or for driving, take Highway 1 for 10 minutes, then exit at Central Avenue. Turn left at the gas station and the office is just past the park. Use simple words and check for understanding. Did you get that? Or, would you like me to repeat the directions? Now I want to give you a few final tips for speaking well on the phone. Tip 1. Always start with a greeting. A simple hello or hi. This helps set the tone. Tip 2. Speak a little slower than normal. The phone removes body language, so your voice must do all the work. Clear and steady speech makes a big difference. Tip 3. Don't be afraid to ask for repetition. Native speakers do it all the time. Say, "Could you say that again, please?" Or, "Sorry, I missed that." Tip 4, keep a notepad nearby. Before making a call, write down what you want to say. This gives you confidence. You can also write down new words you hear. Tip 5, practice out loud. Use the shadowing method with these videos. Repeat sentences after me. Train your mouth and ears to work together. Before we end, I want to go through a few short real-life phrases one more time. Repeat after me if you can. "Can I speak to John, please?" "Sorry, he's not available right now." "Would you like to leave a message?" "I'll call you back in 5 minutes." "Let's meet at 2 p.m. at the cafe." "I need to reschedule our meeting." "I got your voicemail, thanks for calling." My phone is about to die. I'll talk to you later." These are phrases you'll hear or say almost every time you use the phone in English. Knowing them well will help you sound smooth and natural. Now, let me say this from the heart. You've done something amazing. Most English learners avoid phone conversations because they feel nervous, afraid to make mistakes. But you showed up. You practiced. You listened. You spoke. That's how real progress happens. You've learned how to answer the phone, leave a message, make appointments, reschedule plans, and even deal with emergencies. And not just the words, you've learned how to say them clearly, politely, and naturally. So here's my advice. Keep practicing, keep listening, keep talking even if it's just to yourself. Because every word you speak is a step closer to fluency. You are becoming someone who can speak English with confidence. And I am so proud of you for that. Thank you for joining me in this journey. I hope you enjoyed practicing with me as much as I enjoyed guiding you. Take care, stay curious, and keep speaking English every single day. This is Sophie from Chatcraft English. See you next time. Bye for now.